All right, Anthony. Anthony, where'd you grow up? Where are you from originally?
Well, I was born in Portsmouth, Virginia, Portsmouth, Virginia, which is in the Tidewater area, where they changed it now to Hampton Roads. But I was raised in the city of Norfolk, NORFOLK. And I didn't know at the time because, of course, I was an infant. But my biological mother found out she couldn't take care of me, had the means to support me, so she put me up for adoption. And the doctor that she had for her primary physician, was the same physician for this wonderful and beautiful Japanese woman named Ayako, and a wonderful, loving African-American man named Charles Henry Taylor. They ended up becoming my parents. And I wouldn't have known if he wouldn't have told me when I was about 6 years old. I don't remember, but I asked him when I was grown, how did I know I was adopted all my life? And I didn't know how I knew. He told me that, he explained to me that he and my mother loved me with all his heart, soul, and mind, and that we are his parents. But I have biological parents, a Filipino father and a Hawaiian mother. At least that's what they were told.
You have a very unique accent for a
Asian.
Asian, yeah.
Yes. I was raised in a all. When I mean all, I mean 100%. That means the neighborhood, the school, the crosswalk lady, the candy lady. Everyone was African American. Myself and my mother were the only two in this large community that was not African American.
So your childhood was good with your adopted parents.
Actually, it was fantastic as my parents, but I began to get in trouble my own self, making my own decisions at a young age, and most of them weren't too good.
What were you like in high school?
Actually, I got in trouble quite often, but I loved high school because I was very popular, and the schoolwork wasn't too hard for me. I loved the girls, to see the girls every day, but I stayed in trouble often, and it seems that it followed me. Of course, I know that's not the case now. It's by my own means that I got in trouble.
Why do you think you were attracted to things that got you in trouble?
Well, I wanted to fit in, and I guess I did with the guys you would call bad guys. They were popular also, and it seems that the girls liked them more, and they had fun. And I wanted to have all those things too.
You graduated high school?
No, but I want to tell everyone I did because I was pretty smart in school. Actually, it was a very dramatic ending to my high school days. I did get expelled, which meant I couldn't go to no more public schools.
What were you expelled for?
It was basically just getting in too much trouble, small trouble, fights, and disrespecting teachers, and nothing real big, nothing that was criminal, but it was bad enough with my reputation that the principal actually stood up in front of me, and he actually shedded a tear, and he said, it's not too late. You can still do good, do the right thing, and get your GED or some type of certificate.
What grade was this?
This was, I believe it was the 10th grade because I was 17. I wasn't sure which grade I belonged in. I should have been in the 11th or even maybe the 12th.
What did you do with your life after getting kicked out of high school?
Well, I did go to Adult Learning Center, and I was 5 minutes late before the tests, and that was a big deal because I didn't get a second chance until maybe 30 years later. And so, with nothing to do and all this energy, being young and vibrant, and And I like to think the girls like me too, and I wanted to show off, I guess, and I still wanted to fit in. I started to get in trouble, and things started to be even criminal, like breaking in small stuff, really though, breaking the schools and doing things that's illegal. That
You spent some time in jail,
yes, I did.
prison too, or no?
Yes, I did. I went to the detention center as a juvenile, and my dear mother, she's a mother. She's not well acquainted with the criminal law and stuff like that. So it hurt her to the core of her soul. She would cry, and I would hate myself for it. She would put her hands in her face and cry like a little girl, and yeah, I couldn't stand it, but I still got in trouble.
And how old are you now?
57,
57.
yes.
And you're living on Skid Row?
Right this moment, yes. I'm in an apartment. Yes, I live in a SRO.
And I'm assuming drugs are a part of your life?
At one time, it wasn't, and I was clean for 8.5 years through Narcotics Anonymous and going to a program. There's a lot of ways to get clean, but this was a proven way. And I still believe that I can get clean once again. But
What are your drugs?
cocaine and opiates.
So crack
Yes,
and heroin or fentanyl?
yes,
Yeah. That's a popular combination down here.
yes. It's hard to even admit that, but yeah, that's the truth.
And you do what for money?
Oh, well, I actually work. I don't do anything that I would say I would cross the line right now. Right now, I don't do any criminal activities or at least I don't think so. No, no, I don't. I actually care for someone that actually allows me to earn enough money to support myself and a little bit of the habit.
What job is that you?
Provider for a recipient.
For who?
Provider for like a caregiver
Oh, I see. Okay.
for one person.
Mm-hmm. And growing up the way, in a neighborhood that you grew up in, with an African American father, and your unique accent, tell me how that's affected your life differently than a typical Asian young man.
Well, of course, I didn't look like anyone. That's the number one thing. I didn't know the exact moment when I realized that I didn't look like anyone, but when I did know that I didn't look like everyone else. It was somewhere around kindergarten, and I know that everyone was African American, and we used to sing the old Negro spirituals, and I was right there with them. And I learned how to sing souls with soul, and I felt like I was raised. I was raised a black man, not something that you would say as an act or something. If you was raised in like Tarzan by the apes, or whatever, right? You're going to adopt to, and this is the real me right here. I didn't like the way I looked because I felt like people were looking at me all the time. And you know what? Sometimes they were, especially somewhere that I'm not well known. Everyone's with naturals, which is African American hair and darker skin, and I wanted to have all that.
You wanted to fit in.
Yeah, I wanted to, without having to do things and commit to doing things to do it. I wanted to just look like everyone. But I had a wonderful childhood. I would say, I don't think this is a bad thing to say. My grandmother. Some people call it bootlegging, but no, she didn't make any moonshine. She sold alcohol and vodka and champagne, Schlitz malt liquor, and she just did it mainly for the company. She didn't get rich or nothing, but she would have all this company, and every older and African American, and this was a these were the fun drunks. They would laugh and joke and have a good time all the time. And so coming up, and I'm the little Asian guy, and they knew Mildred, which is my beloved grandmother, they knew I was number one in her life, so everybody treated me special, and I loved it, man.
It's a very unique upbringing you had, because being an Asian young man, you could have had a very straight-laced, conservative, nose in the, nose to the grindstone, studying straight A's upbringing, but you ended up getting an African-American upbringing, which is more freewheeling, more fun, perhaps more focused on enjoyment.
Right, exactly. I'm glad you put it that way. I don't blame my situation growing up in an African-American community for me getting in trouble, not at all. Because I made my own decisions. My dad and my mother were great educators, for me. And I was nurtured, I was loved.
Your dad was a good guy?
A great guy, wonderful, one of the best men, regardless of color, that I've known. And he never introduced me as his stepson or anything, nothing but his son. And
That's
I thought
wonderful.
that was great too. Yeah.
The world needs more of that.
Right, it does.
In your life, tell me about, you have children?
I have one daughter.
You have one daughter.
And 2 grandkids.
You were married?
No, I never got married.
Never got married.
I fell madly in love with my high school sweetheart. Matter of fact, I still love her right this day. If she sees this, she probably...
And this is an African-American woman?
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
Beautiful. As a matter of fact, all due respect to all the women in the world, I've never met a woman to this day that was more beautiful. I'm telling you. I really mean that. Not because she was my woman, but I was captivated.
Yeah. Are you open to other races?
Yes, of course. And I never had a...
See, I try not to see colors. A woman's a woman to me.
I don't even...
I don't care if they're purple or green.
No, it don't even come from my lips. If I'm attracted to a particular woman, if it presents itself opportunity, it'd be great. It's all about the compatibility. You know what I mean? I've had all African American girlfriends up until I guess I was an adult, and then and the reason mostly because of that was it was preference, I guess, too, but also was available for myself too.
The community that was around you.
But when I'm older, I guess you can branch out more and do other things, and of course meet new people, right?
When you ended up with somebody other than a black girl, what did you end up with?
She was, good Lord, she was white.
White girl.
Yes.
How did she compare to your
I
black
didn't
girlfriends?
even compare. It was more, she was kind of like me, but she didn't try to act a certain way. Her hair come all the way down to her thighs. I mean, no, to her calves. Yeah, and she was a happy, wonderful person. So it didn't even. Matter of fact, man, I wouldn't have known if I just couldn't see her, right?
I think it's does no good to stereotype.
Right, that's right.
And so you have how many children?
I have one daughter and 2 grandchildren.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
And you raised your daughter?
No, I wanted to. I still got in trouble. To be honest, I didn't know her mother very well. It seems like it was always meant to be. I guess it was, because it happened, right? It was meant to be, right? So, I didn't know her very well, and I was incarcerated when my daughter was born. So I lost touch, and I wanted to see her, because I always wanted a daughter. And I had the name for her ever since 3rd grade, believe it or not. It was a girl named Tiffany, and I thought she was so pretty. And I don't know how I thought about these things at that age, but I did. I remember.
And is your daughter named Tiffany?
Yes. And this middle name is the second name that I wanted. which was in the 7th grade. In my last period class, it was a young, beautiful girl named Nicole. Yeah, and that's her middle name.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What would you say is your biggest regret in your life?
Oh my goodness. If I can't put it into a nutshell, but drugs is definitely at the top. Drugs and making bad decisions, knowing they bad decisions.
Do you feel like the tendency, urge, whatever you want to call it, to make bad decisions comes from something genetic from your biological parents?
Wow. Actually, hey, I didn't expect for you to ask that question. But yes, no question about it.
Because your parents were straight-laced.
Yeah, but they're my adopted parents.
I know, but the ones that raised you were not into drugs.
Right, they weren't.
Maybe a little alcohol, but that's it.
And my dad drank, but he didn't drink till I never saw him drunk. If he was, I couldn't tell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you picked up that tendency.
Right.
Maybe it's something you inherited.
Yeah, exactly. I believe so. I met my mother's side and my father's side, biological parents.
And you never met your...
Yes, I did.
You did meet your biological parents?
Yes, I came to California for that reason.
Oh, is that right?
It's a great story, yeah.
Let's hear that. How did you...
Actually, I was 24 years old, and my mother, I knew her name ever since I was 14 because I found a letter, and it was typed to my adopted mother. She wanted me back. She was gonna fight for me when I was a year old. She never showed up to court, but I did know her name was Blaze, and it was Blaze Slonwhite at the time. And Slonwhite didn't sound like a Hawaiian. Like, I didn't look at it too much. Anyway, fast forward, I was 24 years old. I was contacted by a woman, asked me, did I know a woman named Blaze? I said, yes. This is my mother, right? Yes. Do you want to speak to her? Of course I do. I've never had no animosity. I want to meet my mother, the woman that gave birth to me. So I was excited. So I finally got the number and called. And the first time I heard her voice, it was on the answer machine. And it was a deep voice, I thought. And, but it was funny. I finally got in contact with her. And to make a long story, it's not going to be short, but it'll be shorter. She asked me if I want to come out here to visit her. I said, of course I do. All right? So I did. I came on the bus, believe it or not. I'll never do that again. Almost 3,000 miles. From Norfolk, Virginia to San Francisco. She lived in Santa Clara, which is on the outskirts in Silicon Valley. She took 5 days because I found out you can get off the bus and let your luggage go ahead and you can stop in places. I stopped in Chicago and Omaha, Nebraska. I did make it there, and I was kind of perturbed because I thought that the whole California was warm and wonderful all year round. This was in March, and it was up north, so it was about 40-some degrees, and you could see your breath and everything. I was like, wow. I had one big old ugly piece of luggage, and it took me about 2 hours to find her apartment because I got there a little later than she thought, and we didn't meet at the bus station. So I found her apartment at about 11:30 at night. It was even colder in the 30s, and I walked up to the door, and all these big emotions because I was excited, happy, even sad and mad all at the same time. But overall was excited. So I knocked on the door. It seemed like she took forever. When she answered the door, she turned the knob and it slowly opened. And when I looked up at her, I looked down at her, I looked straight at her, I was flabbergasted. I mean, I was shocked to the core. Matter of fact, I thought it was the wrong residence. The woman that stood before me was the spitting image, and I mean spitting image of Lucille Ball. I'm talking about the Lucille Ball. She could pass for Lucille Ball. She had the red hair and everything, petite, small woman.
And this is your biological
well dressed, yeah, well dressed. So I'm thinking Hawaiian, okay. And guess what? This is even more kind of interesting, I think. We just stood there without one word. No one said hi. No one said anything. We just looked at each other. and it was awkward, it was tense, and I didn't know what to do, but I mean, it just was her part of town. And I just felt a lot of things, but didn't know what to say. Finally, after about, believe it or not, about 4 minutes, that's a long time, she had some glasses on. She put them over her nose and said in a stern voice, "Come in, sit down." I'm like, oh my goodness, is it this type of, is it gonna be like this? So I'm gonna come in. And she had a nice, cozy, well-kept, nice apartment, neat. So I go sit on the couch like she told me to, and everything seemed to go in slow motion then. I looked right at her, and she closed the door, turned around, and she seemed to saunter over to the settee. And when she got to the dresser drawer, she opened the top, got one sheet of paper, turned around and walked over to me and gently laid it in my lap. I pick up the paper and I look at the top left corner, and I see that it's her name, Blaze, B-L-A-S-E. That's a unique name. Never met anyone with that name. And then I saw Martinez. I said, Martinez? Hold on now. It was long white. And then this Martinez, I don't know. So I started to read the rest of the paper, and I see that it's her birth certificate, her birth certificate. And after 24 years, 11 months and 1 week, I remember that too because it was that important to me. I discovered I've been telling a lie all my life. And it's because all my parents were told that and they related to me. She was born in Hawaii, but she's a full-blooded Puerto Rican. And I said, I'm Puerto Rican. She said, well, I am. I guess you are too. And she was pretty dramatic also. And I'm like, wow, I wasn't mad. I was just, it was shocking to me, actually. Not only was it a different, it was a whole different ethnicity, right? Spanish, right? I'm like, wow, okay. I'm glad I was raised by good parents, and I didn't hate Puerto Rican. Anyway, so.
And your father?
Well, let me get to that. I'll tell you about that. He's Filipino, but I actually, it was kind of awkward, like I said, and you can imagine my biggest question. And if you don't know what it means, I wanted to ask her right then, why you give me away? What happened? It was too early for me. I didn't want to ask her right then. I think it was a little too soon. So I had another question that I really was excited about. I said, look, all my life I've been an only child. Do I have any siblings? Do I have any brothers and sisters? I got excited. And so this is what she did exactly. She took off her glasses, sat down, crossed her legs, and she said something like this. Okay, I didn't marry your daddy. Your daddy married a Philippine woman in Burbank, California. She said, now you got 3 sisters. Cassandra is 8 years older than you. Her dad is black and she looks black. Rebecca is 1 year younger than you. She has the same father you do. So she looks Asian just like you. Now, Jennifer her dad's a Canadian. She looks snowy white like me. And I kind of chuckled her. And I thought it broke a lot of ice. And okay, so I thought maybe, okay, Mama been around the block, so what? I love it, it's all great. I had no problem with that at all. I know I got 3 sisters, and I always wanted a little sister, always.
They're half-sisters?
2 are and 1 not. The middle one, we have the same father.
Same father.
Yeah.
You're quite a mix.
Yes, I think so, yeah.
Biologically and your culture, the environment you grew up in. The whole mix, everything, the environment,
I think it's pretty interesting, at least.
So why did your mom give you up or lose you?
Well, I got kind of two different stories. Okay, but not quite the same. Okay, so my father was in the Navy. They got together. This is my mother telling me this. And they knew each other. She worked at a bar. They began dating, and he had to go out to sea. And when he went out to sea, she found out she was pregnant with me, and so she wrote him, and she wrote him, and she wrote him, and never was a letter returned by my father. So she wrote my aunt and tried to get help from her. And I guess that didn't come out too great either. So my uncle, her brother, Melvin, I talked to him before, just after I met her and stuff, and he told me that she didn't wanted to know that she even had a son. She had born a son from my grandmother, but he told her, and when she said he's gonna put me up for adoption, my uncle was like, no, you can't do that. Send her to me. So she did. He was in New Jersey, and I believe his wife I'm not sure, wife perished soon after, and she couldn't take care of me, so he sent me back, and then she put me up for adoption, and that's how it was told by my mother.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Your life is quite an interesting story.
Thanks. It is. Yes.
And you're happy here in this life that you're living in now?
You know what? I think Los Angeles is the best place in the world. And when things are great, when things are not, anywhere you're at can be one of the worst. It's about your daily life, right? Right now, it's not so good. Yeah, and that's another story, really. But I always was a believer. At least I shared that on Facebook. There is a bright side to everything. And I like to still believe that. But right now, well, yeah, I still believe it. The bright side would be now, because even when they say death, right? What's the bright side of that, right? Well, I'm a firm believer, and I might get in trouble with a lot of people. I'm a firm believer that when they say you're going to a better place, I believe that to be true. When I say better place, you know what I mean? Heaven for me is resting in peace. And to me, not have to worry about things or have any pain or suffering or anything. It is resting in peace. And it's, to me, if you really think deep about it, it'd be wonderful. And having to live forever would be terrible, I would think, because I couldn't even escape that if I had to live forever. And I was raised to believe that if I did the right thing, and I don't want to go too deep into that, but you can imagine. I was raised in the church. I was raised going to...
Are you a religious person?
No, not now.
You're not?
I used to. Well, I was one time, yeah.
Back to how you were raised. So your tastes for like music and things like that it reflects the community you grew up in?
No question about it. I love R&B. I sing too. I'm not a professional singer, but I believe I could. I've been in a few musicals, and I like to sing. And my favorite genre is love ballads, sad songs, sad love songs, because they are very moving.
But which artists do you particularly?
Oh wow, it's okay. Luther Vandross, male, Patti LaBelle, woman, Atlantic Star Group in Earth, Wind and Fire, but I also like Journey, also, White Goose Eagles, whatnot. And,
all over the road, but
some of
definitely in the community you grew up in affected your taste.
Yes. But I reached out when I got a little older to find out, hey man, there's more to it than just my little space in Park Place, the name of my neighborhood. Yeah, there's more to it than that. So.
All right. And what would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
Wow. Did I learn it though? That's the thing. That's the
What do you think the most important lesson you need to learn is?
Okay. To do what's good and right, and believe what I used to say I believe is to see the bright side of everything. Make good, solid decisions and ask questions of everything. Critical thinking. It's, and even the things I know. Yeah, be a good person, man. Just be good.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you so much.
You have a very interesting life.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
All right.